If you're just getting started with Microsoft Power BI, this particular dashboard right here will definitely help you to create better visuals, better dashboards or reports. So I'm going to help you to actually learn how to answer questions using DAX, just like what you can see right on your screen. Over here are the questions we're going to be answering and actually create this particular beautiful report or dashboard right on your screen. It's very dynamic, and we're going to be using this particular data right in here. So we have a little challenge on this particular data set that we have right in here, which is this particular part. It should be actually date, normal full date. But right here is just a text-based month. How do we sort it? It's going to be difficult because if you don't know how to work with this particular kind of data, this particular part here would actually start from either June, December, or November. But right now, we have made it to start from January down to December. So we're going to be creating a supporting column that will actually help us to sort it and even add quarter, just like what you can see right now. If you look at the original data, it does not contain quarter, but we were able to actually still manipulate it and actually have this right in here. So it's all about you knowing how to use your DAX, specifically you knowing how to read questions like this and be able to actually look at it and say, okay, this is the DAX that can be written to actually make sure I get this particular dashboard right here being powered. So I'm going to show you every single thing you need to know to create better visuals, better dashboard, right DAX that brings insight from data. So if your aim is to learn how to use Power BI and Microsoft Excel, this particular channel will definitely help you to learn every single thing you need to know. So try to support this particular channel by hitting the like button, leave a comment, and as well subscribe and share to your friends and family. If need be, share to your co-workers. So how about this? You're welcome. Now go ahead and actually open up Power BI and go to this particular part here. You can actually collapse this very part for you to see exactly what it is. So over here now, you have this particular get data. Now data is in CSV. Click on text CSV right in here. So here you go. You have this particular add platforms. Just go ahead and click it, and it's going to actually load to Power Query for you. I already have it. I just want to show you how to get it. So if I open up this particular part here, I have the data loaded right in here. To go to Power Query, you can click on this particular three dots, then go to this particular edit query. As you can see, here comes our data. We don't need any transformation or any cleaning, but we have a little issue here, but not a big deal though. I'm going to solve that situation. So we can't build calendar table because we already have this as a month, and this particular month will not be sorted, and we need quarter to actually slice and dice our data. How can we do that? It's so easy. I'm going to show you. Just let us go. Okay, over here I have a DAX, a table here. How do you create it? If you're actually on Power Query right now, click on enter data right in here. So you're gonna see this one here. Just type in DAX or whatever you want to do, as the name. So type in DAX house, DAX folder, whatever you want to call it, and click on OK. You're going to have something that looks like this. It's called disconnected table. So right now we can get it from here. So we are right in here. If we open up this particular part right now, as you can see, we have clicks, we have conversion, we have impression, we have month, platform, and spend. Let's just look at our PDF and take a look at what exactly we're about to get into. So inside the PDF right in here, if you look at it, what is actually saying now is that we need to actually know how much we actually spend on ads this period. So how many impressions did we actually generate? So how many clicks did we receive from all platforms combined? You get it right now. So the click-through rate, I think this is something that is going to be a little bit different. Others is just for you to write a simple sum function and actually get it aggregated. So how many conversion do we have? All of those are actually KPI, right? So from number 1 here, down to number 5, the actually KPI, which means we have 5 different KPIs. So let me show you how to actually create them. It's easy. So we are right back in here. Already, I have actually gotten this one created. So amount spent here is a simple, arithmetics like aggregation. So what we did here is just to actually write the measure name, and we use a sum function to aggregate this particular spend. This spend is a column found inside our main data source right in here. As you can see, we have spend, impression, clicks, and conversion. The only thing we don't have is the click-through rate, CTR. So let's go back in here, and now we have this particular total clicks using the simple sum function, then the total conversion, sum function, and the impression is a sum function as well. Try as much as you could to copy exactly what I've done right in here. It's simple, right? So just aggregate those particular columns. Then what's going to be a little bit different right now is the CTR right in here. This is the reason why writing your measure yourself is actually going to be cool. Otherwise, you can actually use those particular columns and automatically you're going to use implicit measure. So we have to create explicit measure for we to use it again and again. So over here to calculate the CTR, we actually divide the total clicks by impression and it gave us the CTR. Okay, now we are done with this. The next thing we have to do right now is to make sure we visualize this. Right? That's beautiful. Okay. Now, the most important part is actually the line chart you have seen, in the introductory part of this video. How do we create that? It's simple. Go ahead, actually insert a line chart right here. Let us ignore the date for now. So I'm going to actually, ignore the KPIs for now. I'm going to go to the add data here and bring in my month. Then if I bring in my month, I'm going to bring in my amount spent in here. So look at what happens. Something weird happened right now. Who can figure it out? It's something very obvious. Who can figure it out? 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I believe somebody must have figured it out. So if you look at it right now, this is starting from December and it ends in February, right? So there is no way we can actually sort this because we cannot create a date column. So why can't we create our own date or calendar table? That was because there is no proper date right in here. We just have the months that all of those values are being aggregated to. So what do we now do? Don't worry, I got you covered. So we are still going to create, a date or a calendar table, but not that particular calendar table I used to create. Something different this time around. So make sure you're actually here on the table view. Now go over to table tools here and click on new table. So once you're here, it's going to be different from what I used to do before now. Let us name this one month. This month is going to help us to sort that month from January down to December. And we can actually add quarter to it again if we need quarter, which I believe we're going to need. So I have actually gotten this particular month in here. So what I'm going to do right now is to create a table using a particular function called add columns. So add columns is something you already know. I used to use it in my calendar table a lot. So over here, let us use this particular data table here. So now this will actually help us to name the columns we want to have right in here. So the first column we want to have in here is actually going to be month. So what is the data type of this? It's actually string because it's a text, right? So put a comma on it. And the second column I want to have right now is going to be month number. This month number will help us to sort our month from December or from January to December, right? So over here, this is going to be a number. So we're going to use integer. So you must understand data types before you can be able to actually do well in this, right? Those are data types that you need to know, right? Okay, so we're going to actually go ahead and bring in 2 curly brackets. Inside this particular curly brackets here, for which to avoid this error, let us close our add column. Okay, just ignore that. So right now, we're going to open up this. And inside here, we're going to start getting in what we want to actually show, right? So inside under curly bracket, open and close right now, we're going to type in here Jen. So right now, what you need to consider before you do this, you need to understand what exactly the kind of month you have right in here. Is it a shorter month or the full month? So it's a shorter version of it, right? So for the month number, we put 1 here because January is actually 1. So please put a comma on it, then 1. So once you have done this now, you can actually go ahead and put a comma right here. Then you open up another one. So inside here now, because it's a text, you have to make sure you actually surround it with double quotes. So Feb here, put a comma, is actually the second month of the year. So as you can see, I have actually completed this in a very speedy way, right? So right now, what you have right here is this. We have closed our data table. So we have to close for our add column. So now if you look at it, we have an error right in here. The error is because we actually used this particular add column. So the reason for this add column is that we want to actually add a new column to it, and that column is going to be called quarter. So that column is not going to be in here. There is a way you can actually do it and add the quarter into these particular lines, but I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do right now is to place a comma right here, shift enter over here. I'm going to call this one quarter. So here we have our quarter here. So how do we format it? We're going to format it into like this, kill, then you can do dash, then close it and concatenate this to it. So we're going to use a function called this particular ceiling. I don't know how do you want to call it. So what I'm going to do right now is to take the month, the actual month number. So which is going to be month number here. This month number, we're going to divide it by 3. By 3. So for the significance, we put 1 over here. Then we have this closed. So if I hit my enter key, we should have this right in here. Can you take a look at that now? So we have something simple as this. So you can see, if you look at this one now, January, February, and March falls under the first quarter of the year. The second quarter falls between April down to June. Then June, July to September falls under quarter 3, and October to November falls under the fourth quarter. Can you see this right now? So this will not make any sense to you, but don't worry, it will definitely do that. So let us go back in here. This one starts from December. Let us try to remove this from here and bring in something new. So over here, we're going to go into here, take this month away, and let us go into this new month and pick up this particular month here. Okay, it's now flat. The line is flat, and I believe somebody must have guessed what the reason is, right? That was because there is no relationship between this table we just created with our actual table. Let's go ahead and connect that. So we are back right here, have this one hidden. Then this is a disconnected table. We can actually move it away from here, collapse every single thing here. Beautiful. So it creates space. So now we need to create this particular connection month to month. It's going to give us many to one, which is exactly what I want. So go ahead and click on save. If we now go back to this particular part here, it has been solved. But unfortunately, we're still having December down to February right here. Let's go ahead and fix that. So coming back to this particular part, click over here on the month area, and let's go over to sort by column and go ahead and choose month number right in here. This is where the magic happens. Let us take a look at what we have done. Okay, it seems not working, right? What can we do? Let us go ahead and make sure this is clicked on, remove the month, and go back and actually bring in the month for the last time again. So now it has been fixed automatically. from January down to December. This is how you can actually manipulate any date that does not come as a date format, but as a month, and you still want to actually sort it. This is what you can do. And our quarter is actually active. We have from quarter 1 down to, quarter 4. Beautiful. Okay. We're not done yet. So what about the highlight? If you look at the introductory part of this particular, tutorial, I show you a particular dashboard that has a highlight of maximum and the minimum on the line chart. I'm going to show you a simple way to do it because there are several ways to do it, but the simplest way is what I'm going to show you right now. Now, to highlight the max and the min in this chart, all we have to do is to actually go over to this particular y-axis and click on add data, then click over this particular part right in here. So once you have done that, it's going to bring you to visual calculation. This is where it is. So you have to pay attention right in here. It's something very simple. So what do we do? Over here, I'm going to type in max. So what I want to do right now is to retrieve the max value from amount spent right in here. But unfortunately, this is not going to actually give me what I want. I have to go back and show you something different. So let me just go ahead and cancel this right now. So what I want to do right now is this. We have several KPIs that we also have created, which we have jumped, right? So all those particular, measures right in here, from conversion, clicks, spend, we want to actually combine them together as one measure so that we can actually switch between them. Then we can use that to calculate the min and the max on our line chart. I believe you understand. Although it was not specified in here, if you look at it in detail, this is what we're actually doing right now, right? So now over here, it says, how do impressions trend across the month? It's only talking about impression, but over here it says, which advertising platform generated the most, impression? So it's still not talking about that as well. So over here, it says, how does each platform perform relative to other? Which platform should we prioritize whatsoever? So it's not talking about the highlight, but we feel like adding that particular highlights will actually give us something much more, stand out. So let us see how we can do that. So we are back right in here and we have this particular couple of measures right in here, which I believe you must have actually created. If you have not, this is the measure for amount spent. Pause and write it out. Then this is the measure for the clicks. Pause and write this out. This is the measure for conversion. And this is the measure for impression. And finally, this is the measure for CTR, which is click to rate. So make sure you have those particular measures to get into this particular next step. So once you have all those measures, the next thing you have to do is to go to modeling here, then click on new parameter. Let us go ahead and choose fields. So with our field parameter here, we're going to actually come here and say, let's call this one selected measures. So now open up this particular DAX here and bring in amount. Here, bring in total clicks, bring in conversion, bring in impression. Then we don't want to see spend. Just let's just use I'm thinking, what can we use to make it some kind of very, just amount. Over here, I'm going to take off total. Just want to have clicks. Take off the total from here. I just want to have clicks, conversion rather. Over here, do the same thing. So it's going to make it shorter amount. So this is crazy. So what do we do now? Make sure we go ahead and create. So this is not the final thing. This is going to show us what we really want. Let me show you what I'm talking about. If you have been watching my videos, you must have done this several times on my tutorials, right? So what I'm going to do right now is to switch this particular amount spent here for this particular one. And now everything showed up. Let us click on one, conversion. Now clicks, now amount, now impression. This is exactly what we want to use. But unfortunately, if we go over here right now and click on this particular part, then click over here and right in here, we have impression. So can we use it? Let us go ahead and actually do impression. Impression shows up right in here as well. but I'm not so sure if this will work. But let us try it. I've never done this before. I have to convert that particular parameter we just created into a measure before I use it. But let me try this. So what I'm going to do right now is that I want to highlight the max value from here. So how do I do that? So we have a function called maxx. It's an iterator that goes line by line to check which one is higher, then return it back to us. So over here, let us call this max. So equals. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to say maxx, then rows is a function. Then put a comma here, and the expression now will be impression, what is visible to us, right? So once I've gotten this, I'm going to go ahead and close this, and here you go. So we have this particular straight line right in here, which is actually crazy. It's not making any damn sense. So what we really want now is a highlight of this particular spot here. This is the highest one, which is the month of December, right? So what happens to this particular line? We need to get them off, right? So we just want a dot right in here. So what we can do right now, click back on this particular edit. So once you're here, make sure you copy everything to your clipboard, Control C. So over here, use the if function, if. So I'm going to say if this particular part here is equals to impression, then comma. What I want is to actually give me what I just copied, paste it right in here. Otherwise, give me blank like this. So hit the enter key. Can you see it now? So it has actually pointed to us where the max actually falls into, which is the month of December. This is what you can actually do to get this created. Okay, let us go back and see if this is actually working on different. Now, this is where the issue actually, comes in. This is not more working again. If I go back to impression, it's working. If I go to clicks, it's not working. Amount is not working. I told you before, I've never done this before, but we have to try it sometime to see if it will make sense. But it doesn't make sense right now. What do we now do? It's simple. So what I'm going to do right now is to actually go over to here. From there, make sure you click on selected measures. And what you can see now is, 3 different columns. We have the actual name of our measures. Then we have the actual measure we have actually used, right? Then we have how they are being ordered from 0 to 3 is the order. So if we are going to forget how they are being ordered, don't worry. Let us go ahead and copy all the code that was generated for us. So I've just copied it right now. So I'm going to go back here. And right now I have to create that particular measure inside here. So right click and go ahead and do new measure. So you might be thinking, what the heck are you doing? Don't worry, it's simple. So I'm going to paste this one over here. I'm not going to call this one selected measure, but active measure, not measures. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is to make sure I comment all of this out. So Control \. So they have been commented out. So over here now, we are going to actually make sure we create a single measure that will control what we actually have on our line chart. How easy is that? Let's see. So let's just use the switch function. So with the switch function now, we're going to use selected value. So what this particular selected value will do is to check what is being selected from our slicer, which is this particular slicer sitting right in here that has been blocked. Okay, so how do we know what we want? Go ahead and check this out. Over here, we have this 0, 1, and others, right? So what do they mean? This is the order, how they are being ordered. So over here, I'm going to just type in selected. So once I type in selected, I'm going to search for the one that has order on it, which is this particular one. Make sure you use this exactly. So have it closed, or put a comma and do -1, then have it closed. So what we're going to do right now is to go over here and put a comma on it, shift enter, and say, if it is actually 0, then comma, what do we want to see? 0 is actually total amount. Then give us this particular amount, this amount spent. then comma, shift, enter again. If it is equals 1, what is 1? 1 is actually clicks. So go ahead and give us clicks. So which is this total clicks right here. So now if it is equals to, what we want to see is conversion. So go ahead and give us conversion. So the last one is impression. So we're going to go ahead and do shift, enter. So that's going to be 3. So what do we want to see? Impressions. So we are done. So if the result is not in any of these, what do we want? We want to see blank. Shift, enter. So give us blank. So now we can close this and hit our enter key. Not just like that. We don't want to keep all those ones because our back end will be too rough. Take it off. Okay. So make sure you tidy this particular part here. So what you can do right now, select it, tab key to indent it. So beautiful. So if I now hit my enter key, I have a new measure I can use. So what I'm going to do right now is to make sure this particular chart is being clicked on. Then over here, selected measure, switch it to active. Remove this one and bring this one in. So once you have done this right now, it wouldn't solve the situation. What do you now do? Click over here to edit. So once you're here, we need to edit for impression here. Highlight it, Control Shift and L. It will highlight everywhere you actually have it writing. So we're going to type in active measure. So right now, if I hit my enter key, 100. Can you see now? Let's just go back here and check it out and see what we have done. If I click on this, clicks, conversion, impression, amount, everything looks perfectly okay, no problem. So it's working fine. Now, this is the maximum here. What about the minimum? The minimum should actually fall into June. So to get that done now, click back over here. We're just going to do one single changes. Copy every single thing you have under the max. Copied. Now click over add, then click over here, then paste this one over here. Then the max here is going to be mean, X. So Control Shift L, mean X. Beautiful. So if I hit my enter key right now, so we should actually have, so let us go ahead and change this one to mean. So we have a new column added for us. So we have mean and we have max. So if I scroll down now, this is where the max falls into. This is the month that has the mean. Can you see it now? The mean falls under February here. And here you go. Oh, not June. Here you go. Now, if you want to see the fluctuation of this, let's just go ahead and bring in platform into this particular part here. And the platform should be slicer for now. Okay, so if I select Facebook here, I switch to June. If I select TikTok here, can you see now? YouTube, May, and all of that. So this is how you can actually create something like this. Very simple, right? So we don't need to actually have the legend showed up. Let us do some cleaning. The x-axis here, we turn off the title. You can increase the font size to whatever you feel like you're cool with. Then the y-axis here, we're going to turn off every single thing. Okay, they're gone. The next thing I'm going to do right now is the legend. We have to have them hidden. So once we have done that, the next thing we have to do is to go all the way back up, or you can collapse it to close everything and open it back. Now let us go down a little bit. This line here, we want to actually use a smooth line. So linear, smooth. Beautiful, huh? Okay, so if I scroll down a little bit now, I have this particular markers. So we have to select what we want to actually increase the mark on. So select max, turn this one on, then put this one on something like 10 will be okay, bold enough. Then select mean. So turn this on. 10 here should be okay. So beautiful. So those colors here are not what we want to actually use. We're going to change our color later after all. So right now, what we need to do is to actually make sure we are actually using the data label right on it. So go over to data label, turn it on. It turns on for every one of them, all the months. We only want to highlight this particular, markup part here. So open up this one and go over to active and turn active off. So we only have it on for this. So once you have done that now, we can actually select max here. Once we have max selected, go over to value area here, open up value area, then increase this to like, maybe 12 is okay, to like 12, right? To like 12. So scroll down a little bit and the display unit should actually be none. So once it is on none, if I go over to, for example, let's go to impression now. Impression has a lot of values and there is no comma separator right on it. So how do we make sure we fix this? So what we can do right now is to go to properties. From properties, go to data format. Then over here, select what you want to actually affect. That is max. From max, it's on decimal. We choose whole number. Over here, format, we choose under whole number again. We make sure we use this 1000 separator. Check it out. Solved, right? So do the same thing for mean over here. So choose whole number. Choose under whole number here. I think that is optional, the comma separator. So you wouldn't see the effect right now because we have not actually turned off the auto. So let us go ahead and do that quickly. So let's go over to our data label. So scroll all the way down here and make sure you select mean. So from auto, no, not this one. Here should be above. You should put it above. Select max again. Make sure max is not on auto. Make sure you put it on above. Let us go back to mean. So now scroll all the way down, go to value area, and right away we're going to put it at 12, bold enough. So over here, auto to none. Then the comma separator is now active right on it. So whichever one we actually select, we're going to see something that makes a lot of sense on it. Okay, what do we now do? We need to actually have a background on these particular values right in here to make it stand out just like what you have seen in the introductory part of the video. So make sure the chart is clicked on. Once that is done, we go over to here, value area, and you turn on the background. So before you do that, you want to make sure you go all the way up. So background turned on. If I select this one now, I'm going to choose this. Now it's not making sense. We need to go over to the value area. That is going to be somewhere around here and put the value at white. Can you see now? It appears very well. Then make sure this particular part here, sorry, not here. Go up again. What is selected here now should be the max value. So now we can now do the same formatting for the max here. So what do? We turn on the background of the max. We open it up, we actually drag this onto 0. So now here we go, we have to use a green color. We select a particular type of green we want to use. Something a little bit darker. Okay, now we can go all the way up here and straight up to values. Open up this one and let's go with white. That pops. Okay, this is exactly what I've done to get this created. So the only issue we have right now is actually this particular one. We're going to take care of that later after all, which is the color of the actual line that we have. But right now, we have done something very, very interesting. Now we are going to convert this particular slicer into a chart. And that chart is not other chart, but this very clustered bar chart right in here. Can you see it now? With the clustered bar chart right here, what we can do right now is to actually make sure we go over to here and select our active measure. So can you see it now? So whatever we actually select from here now will affect this particular one and affect this one too. But this is not really cool to me. I just want to make sure I sort this. How do I do that? Click over the three dots here and go over to sort and sort according to the active measure. So now it's not sorted the way we want. Let us go descending. Sort again and go descending. So here you go, from the highest value to the lowest value. This is exactly what it is. So we need to do some little cleaning over this particular one as well. So go over to here, the y-axis, we want to turn off this particular title for it. And for the y-axis, I want to make sure this particular text here popped. So increase it to 12. Beautiful. So we go over to the x-axis and turn off everything, but the title and the values should be turned off. Nicely done. Can you see this right now? Okay. So before we do any other thing, we need to actually create our background. For now, we have actually created the most important part of it. So the KPIs are very simple. We already have the measures we're going to be using for them. So now we need a background. It's something very simple. We don't have to do too much on this. So how do we get into that? Go ahead and actually open up PowerPoint. So clear everything you have in here. Delete it. Now we have something as blank as this. The next thing we have to do right now is to actually go up to this particular insert, then shapes. From there, click on this particular rounded rectangle and drag it this way. Okay, not too much, but something like this would be cool. Now here we go. We can stretch it a little bit. So for we to make sure it's centralized, is just for we to go over to shape format, go to align, line center. So now we have equal space that we have right in here at this particular part as well. So go ahead and actually right click on it, then click on format shape. From there, go to line and do no line. So right now for the fill color, we click on this and go to this particular color. So something like this looks some kind of too dark. So what I'm going to do right now is for me to choose this very one here. Then this one looks too light. So we just want to make sure we actually go over to more colors. So from there, we can decide to play around with this particular color here. So let us change this part and click on OK and let's see what we have. Okay, now this one popped a little bit. So what we can do right now is to actually go ahead and duplicate this one, bring it down and keep it somewhere around here. Then make sure you bring it all the way down here. So the rendered corner should be reduced. So something like this. Once we have done this right now, we need to actually create 5 good KPIs. Go back and count how many do we have right in here. Over here, we open up this particular DAX. So the first thing we want to actually show up here is our amount spent, CTR should be there, clicks, conversion, and this very one as well. So how do we actually show this? There are going to be 5 different cards. So to get that done now, you can actually go over here and duplicate this one, then make it smaller. So it can't show up right now. Click on the gradient. So now you have it right here. So we have 4 steps. Take off 2 steps. I only leave just 1 or 2 steps as well. So for this particular one, we're going to use a lighter version of green. So go to more colors. Over here, what would be the hex code? Let us use this particular red to be 39. So for the green, we're going to use 112. Then for our red blue, we're going to use 67. So now here we go. Click on OK. So we click on this particular one here. So we have used the lighter version. Now let us select a particular dark green color. How do we do that? It's simple. Let's do it. Click over here. Then click on this particular part. Then if you don't have the same version as me, you might not have the hex code, use the RGB right in here. So 22, then over here, we're going to do 87. And finally, we do 56. So we have the darker version of it. So I'm going to just make sure I shift this particular one. Something like this looks cool. Then we just have to reduce this to this level. Keep this over here. The rounded corner should be reduced Just keep it somewhere around here. So we're going to need this one into 5 places. What do? You can move this one and keep it somewhere around here to create a space. Right? Oh no. Bring it over here. So what do we do now? We just go ahead and duplicate this one, keep it over here. So it can give us 5. What we can do is just to go ahead and delete this one, then go ahead and reduce this like this. Now duplicate second, third, fourth, and fifth. This doesn't still give us the 5th one. So what we can do right now, you can do this as many times as you like until you have what you really want. So duplicate again, keep it over here. So now we have the 5 KPI cards we want to actually have right now. So all we need again is just for we to go over the cards and drag it down. Then go over to shape format, go to align, distribute horizontally for equal spacing, and align to the, align to the top or to the bottom, just to make sure we align it properly. Okay, something like this looks perfectly okay. So next again is for me to hold my control key and select this particular 4 of them. Then go over here and say solid. Then choose white color for them. So it looks like this. Can you see it now? So what I'm going to do right now is just to add a border around this one. So all you can do is to go to line, go to solid, and once you are there, you choose this particular color. So step off is not really showing up very well. You just have to test different colors, test them. Oh, no, not this one. This should be white, plain white. Over here, we are supposed to be on the line. So choose this here. Okay, this one showed up. So I can come over here now. And for the line, I'll reduce the transparency. I don't want to show too much. Okay, something like this looks cool. So go over here now and make sure you apply the same thing for this particular one. Apply it to this one. And finally, apply the same thing to this particular one. It helps us to actually make it stand out. All right, so once we have done this now, the next thing we have to do is just to go over to this particular part again, go to shapes and click on this particular circle here and hold your shift key down to drag this like this. So we can actually keep this one over here. So once I've done that, we just have to come over here and do white. So no line. Okay, so duplicate this one and keep this over here. This time around, no fill. And we're going to use line. Then the line we're going to use is going to be something like this particular one we have used before. So can you see it now? So we just have to make sure. So click on this one and send it to back. It's gone. Click on this one again, send this one to back. Then we can now have access to click on this very one here. So what we can do right now is to duplicate it. And keep this over to this particular spot. Duplicate, duplicate. Here we go. So we have all of this here. So the next thing we have to do is to make sure we have some couple of icons on this particular part. So I already have those icons and you can just go ahead to your folder if you have it downloaded already. So icons. So I'm going to just go ahead and select those ones. And move them into my PowerPoint, release them. Okay, so we have them here. We can make them smaller. Okay, nicely done. So this particular one will go for our amount. Make sure it is centralized in here. Okay. So this particular one, we go to our impression. Impression here. Then this one will go for a click. So for a click. Then this one will go for a conversion. So increase this a bit. So make sure it's in the middle of the circle. So this one here goes for our conversion. So now what I'm going to do now is just to affect the colors a little bit. So go over to this particular part here where it says picture and go for this particular picture transparency. No, not this one. Picture color. Then let's go over here and select a calm one like this particular one here. Nicely done. Then what we can do right now is to apply the same exact thing to others is for we to select, and here we go. Select this one, apply it to this one, and select this particular one, apply it to this very one, and finally select the same thing and apply it to this very one. It looks very calm and I love this. Okay, what is next? Click on any of the card here and just go ahead and duplicate it and keep it somewhere around here. Can you see it now? Then drag it to this level here and drag it all the way down. Then the rounded corner should actually be reduced for us. So once we have done this now, we just duplicate this particular one and bring it back inside here. So keep it somewhere around here. Then reduce this very one and have a space like this. Okay. So you want to make sure they are in the same line. All right. So if you're not too sure of it, move this one up and hold your control key to select this particular one. Then go to shape format here, go to align button. Then you can see the space you have here be equal to this particular one. All right. So I'm going to tell you firsthand that we have actually successfully created our background, and this is beautiful already. So what we can do right now is to export this out into our folder. So export, click over here. Oh no, sorry. So cancel. We're going to export this. Oh, no. So you can change this file type here to whatever you really want to actually use. But the fastest way, let me show you the fastest way to get it done is for you to click on file here, click on this particular export here, then click on change, then over here PNG. If you double click it to take you to the other side, now we have PNG here. So select where you want to actually save this file right in. So just save this and let's go ahead and pick it up. So we are back right here. What we can do right now is to pick up this very background we have actually created, drag this one to 0%, make sure the transparency is at 0%, it's very important. Now click over browse, background, and here we go. This one here, just make it small right now. We don't need it yet. Okay, so we have all of this. We just have to make sure this one is sitting rightly inside here. So this one here, centralize it into this particular part. This is exactly what you need to do. So now what is left right now is for we to make sure our KPIs are actually sitting tightly right here. So there is something I don't like. This particular circle I have my icons right on. They're not popping out very well. So what do? I can go over to here and I'll just retouch it. But it's optional if you want to do that. Make sure it's a little bit darker to pop out from the background. So just want to tell you that you need that. Okay. So now what we can do right here now is this. It is time for we to actually start formatting this rightly. So what are we going to format? Then the first thing we need to do right now is to go over to insert here. I want to actually customize my own title. So the title here is going to be so amount. So we just have to, this should be amount spent. Then we do 14 and C. 14 looks cool. We can keep this over here. Then we have to turn off the background. Then the color should be changed. That is it. So what we can do now is just to make sure we duplicate this particular one here. So we drag it and keep it somewhere around here. So this one now should be called impression. So for the impression, we just want to make sure we change the color. Can you see it now? This is for our impression. So now what we can do right now is to duplicate this particular impression for other part of it and just make a little change. So keep this over here. Keep this over here. And finally, we keep this over here. Okay, so we have impression here. So we're going to have clicks. So we're going to have CTR. So we're going to have conversion. Okay, those are what we actually have. Now, the next thing we have to do is to make sure we bring in all of the measures that we're going to use for this. It's something very simple. So right now you have a lead. So let's quickly go over here and bring in the amount spent. So we're going to format this quickly. Let's go over to here, turn off this particular one. And over here, we just have to choose none. Then we have something like this. So we're going to put it at 30. Let's see how it goes. So once we have done that, we just have to reduce it and keep this at this particular spot here. Then quickly, we just have to change this to white color. And for the background, we want to turn it off. We don't need it. So we have something like that looks like this. Can you see it now? This is the value that we have. So just go ahead and copy and paste it and move this right in here. So right away, we're going to pick up our impression. So here is our total impression here. Then for the total impression, we want to make sure the color is popped. So we just go ahead and take this particular color. So we duplicate this, keep this over here, keep this over here, keep this over here, copy and paste it over here. So now this one turns to click. I believe you have all those measures here. Then we're going to just go for CTR, which is this particular click-through rate here. And finally, we go for conversion and total conversion right in here. Can you see it now? All right, everyone. The next thing we're going to do right now is to make sure this particular line chart here matches what we have right inside here. So what can we do? We can click on this one and decide to use a darker version of it. So what we can do right now is to go over here and scroll down to pick up this particular color from here. So once we have done that, we step back in and we click on the line. Then we go to line. Once we get to line, we scroll all the way down. We go over to color. I think so. No, we have to choose this active measure first. Now, when we get to color, we can see this color here. We can now paste in what we copied. So now we have this right here. Can you see it now? This is interesting. Okay, the last part we have to touch right now is that this particular part here, we have to make sure we fix the slider to this. And this particular title here should be dynamic. It's not dynamic. This one too is not dynamic. It has to be dynamic to actually pick up what we're actually selecting from this particular part right in here. It's very important. Right now, we are almost at the far end of the dashboard. And it's looking beautiful already. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and do that. It's going to be very important for you to do that because this particular channel will help you to learn about Microsoft Excel and Power BI and pick up my course to learn more about dashboards in Excel and Power BI. So let's continue. To create the title is not something very hard. What we can do is to go over to this particular active measure and have it copied. So we have just copied the active measure. So what are we going to do with the active measure we have just copied right now? So we want to actually make sure we turn this particular active measure into a title, right? Let's see how we can do that. So right click and go ahead and create a new measure. It's something very simple. I have been doing this over and over again before now, and I believe most of you must have understood what exactly I'm about to get into right away. So paste it over here and change the name to what? To title. 01. The first title, I'm going to have two of them. So right now, what I'm going to do right now is going to be me trying to just say, okay, for this particular one here, I want to make sure I turn this into total amount spent on ads. by month. So can you see it now? On ads by month. So over here now, this one is going to be total clicks by month. So this one will be total conversion. By month. Can you see how speedy it is? Then this one here will be total impression. By month. So this is what you can do. So right now, what I'm going to do is just to actually copy this away from here. Ctrl to copy. So we have this one here. I'm going to create the second one. Right click and new measure. So paste it over here. So instead of me to use by month, I'm going to use here, turn this one to 2. To 2. So this one should be by ad platform. So highlight the month here, Ctrl-Shift-L, then this should be platforms. So total amount spent on ads by ad platform. Okay, I think this should be ads. Do it again, ads platforms, 100% correct. So this is exactly what it is. Right now, we can use this on our charts. So this one here, select it and go over to title here and click on FX. This is our second title, title 2. So click on OK. So increase this to actually pop out very well. So select a very calm one. I'm going to use 17. So click on this one here. 01. Click on OK. All right. Can you see it now? Interesting. So right away, I'm going to click on this particular one here. Drag it down. So let us select a particular slicer. That is going to be this very one here. So once you have done that, let's go over to here and select horizontal. Then make sure you select the numbers of items in it. So turn off the title for this one. Then centralize it and make sure it sits right in here. Beautiful. Then go to this particular part and turn off the background and scroll down to here, the button, and let's go straight up to fill, turn it off, and this. Once we have done this now, then one of them is actually, not showing up again. So what do? We scroll all the way up again, and we go to call out value. So we select state, we choose selected. Once we have done that, we're gonna go ahead and select this one, select a green color here, and increase the size to like 15 or 16. Beautiful. So now here we go. It's now standing out. So we're going to go ahead and select on hover. Hover, we just increase. When somebody hovers on this, you just want to have some effect. Can you see it now? That is beautiful. Let's go all the way down. So over here now, we just want to say this state should be unselected. What we want to see is going to be the accent bar. Then we scroll all the way down. Instead of left, we are going to use bottom. So now here we go. We make it a little bit thicker. And we're going to make sure it's a green color as well. The color should be green. So now it helps us to identify what is being selected. So whenever we make a switch now, it's dynamic. Okay, one more thing. This part here, I don't want to actually use icons, but I want to actually identify every single platforms with their actual, brand colors. How do we do that? It's easy. So make sure you click on the chart and go to bars. Once you are here, we just have to make sure we select a particular, platform like YouTube or Instagram. Let's go with Instagram. So with Instagram now, you select here and click on more color. So right now you need to actually go online and search for what is the hex code of YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, any other social media you actually have right in here. Right now it's going to be E4405F. This is it here for Instagram. Can you see it now? Let me open it up again for you to see. So take a look at what I've just done. Or you can use the RGB. Depends on which one you want to use. Right? So for TikTok now, TikTok has different colors. You can actually use black color. You can use blue color. Then whichever one you want to use. But in my own case, I'm going to go for TikTok. So for TikTok now, select more colors. So let us go with here 105. Then this one should be 201, and finally 208, a blue color like this for TikTok. Can you see it now? This is actually gonna look amazing, right? So now the next thing is gonna be Facebook. Facebook is actually a blue color. So go to Facebook here. Then what kind of blue? Then this one here should be 24. This one over here should be 119, and finally 242. This is the kind of blue color we want to use. So what is left? That is YouTube. We go to YouTube here. So YouTube is a red color, but not just anyhow red. You have to be specific about it. I have made my research to know what are the hex code for all those particular platforms so that we can actually be accurate on them. So it's very simple. Click over here now, go to more. And over here, we just want to do, 255. Then here, 0, here, 0. Then here we have a deep red for it. So this is exactly what it is. So here we have identified them with their actual, branding color. So what we can do right now is to make sure we come over here and we go over here and turn off the background we have right on this. Turn off the background for this particular one. So click over here now and go ahead and turn on the data label. It's important, right? So if you don't want this particular data label to be summarized this way, just go ahead and go to value area and scroll down and select here none. So you have the values. So we have to quickly go over to our active measure and select comma separator. So we have the tags separated. Okay, here we go. We have something like this looking beautiful already. So now don't forget the logo of your company, of the company you're actually working for. In our own case, we don't have logo. We have the company name. So we just have to bring the company name in here. So bring this one all the way here. So we type in the name of the company, and that is going to be Pixel. So Pixel size marketing dashboard. So highlight it. Let's do 18. Okay. Let's do 20. That is beautiful. Then this particular part here, highlight this part, and let's do something. I think let us leave it at that. Then on this one here, we just want to make sure it's bold version. Okay. Then select here and go with the green color. Okay. Now select this one, go over here and turn off this. If you look at it right now, this is what we have. The next thing we're going to do right away is going over to our months and select the quarter, right? So before we do that, we just have to delete this one. Let's quickly cut this one away from here. So Ctrl+C, copy rather. So once we copy, we paste this one and we bring it over to this particular spot. and we'll remove whatever we have in it. Then we'll bring in our quarter for a slicer. So what will happen if I select quarter 3? So my dashboard automatically, updates. Can you see it now? So if you don't want to select anything, you just deselect. But over here, I want to make sure there's a compulsory selection. Otherwise, if I actually select right now, everything looks blank. So for that, I'm going to click on the slicer and go to settings and click on forceful selection over here. So can you see what we have done right now? So we have just completed this particular dashboard, and this is exactly what you need to know when it comes to working with Power BI, how you can actually make things to actually give you what you want. So it's all about DAX, visualization, and reading, business question and be able to actually turn what you're seeing right here into what we have just done right now. Beautiful, right? So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and you're welcome.